Hi, I'm Ryan Szymanski, Curator for Battleship New Jersey Museum and Memorial. And today we've got another video where we ask what's become a pretty common question so far. Here on the channel, we have made somewhere around 1,500 videos at this point. Oftentimes, or a large subsection of our videos is either we go into a brand new room and we talk about how this is our first time in that room, or we pull out a new object, something that we found on the ship, and we say, hey, we just found this, let me tell you about it. So the most frequent question or comment that we get relating to this stuff is, dude, this is your full-time job working on this battleship. How have you still not been in every single room? How did you not know that you had that thing? And so that is the question that we're going to try and answer in today's video. But first, here's a word from our sponsors. Magic Spoon fits a variety of diets. It's high protein and has no sugar. Magic Spoon is an easy source of protein. It makes it so convenient for me to eat more protein when I'm too busy or tired to cook. Magic Spoon tastes just like the cereal you loved as a kid. The most popular flavors are fruity, cocoa, frosted, and peanut butter. And there are many other flavors too. Working on the battleship, there's rarely enough time between tours or maintenance projects to be able to get a full meal in. That's why I like Magic Spoon. I can eat it quickly and it's very filling. Every serving of Magic Spoon cereal has 13 to 14 grams of protein, 0 grams of sugar, and 4 to 5 grams of net carbs, so you can feel good about what you're eating. Remember to use my code BATTLESHIP or click the link in the description to try Magic Spoon cereal today and get $5 off. You can also find Magic Spoon on Amazon or in your nearest grocery store. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee online. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Click the link in the description to go to magicspoon.com/battleship for $5 off. And now that I've had breakfast, I've got the energy to go and explore some more of the ship. So part of the issue here is a question of scale. Battleship New Jersey has 1,600 rooms on it. She is 887 foot long, which means that she's the same size as a 90-story office building laying on its side in the water. I have worked here for 7 years at this point. I've been a full-time employee of the museum for 7 years. I've probably worked more than full-time over that length of time. Actually, I was doing some math earlier, and I'm somewhere around 20,000 hours worked on board the ship. So, how have I still not been in every room? Man, there's a lot of rooms. Now, granted, a lot of the rooms I haven't been in are things like fuel tanks and void spaces. I've been in most of the habitable spaces on this ship. Believe it or not, there are some spaces that I don't have the keys for personally. They're used by other departments or whatnot, and so I don't have a key to get in there, and I may not have been in. Although, over the course of my 7 years here, knowing that I've never had a key to get in here, I usually stick my head in when somebody else is in there, just to see, like, what is this? What was it? What is this condition of the space? But there are still plenty of spaces on board that I haven't been in. Something to the tune of probably just under 600 spaces that I'm still missing. Primarily fuel tanks, voids, those sorts of things, of course, but still, probably about a third of the spaces on the ship, certainly not by volume, but by like number of spaces, I still haven't been to. And part of that is because I don't get to spend my full day going around and exploring. I wish I did. That would be awesome. The more donations you give to the channel, the more and more we're able to do that. But a significant part of my day is spent in meetings or at my computer answering emails or sitting in a space that I've been in already filming videos. So it's not like I've got 40 hours a week to explore the ship. And how do we keep finding tools and things? Well, there's just boxes and boxes of stuff all over the ship that we've never been in before. Some of the 5-inch magazines, for example, have these huge boxes of deck equipment in them, and they're stacked multiple high. So we've never emptied the top boxes to be able to get down to the bottom boxes and see what's in there. Part of it is I knew that this thing was over there, but I didn't know what it was. And now finally, after working here for 7 years and learning more about the ship, I've been able to figure out, like, oh, that's whatever. It's a screwdriver. That big 6-foot-long T-handled thing was a screwdriver all along. Who knew it? I know, I've seen one of those before. Where did I see that just propped up against a bulkhead somewhere? Which of those 1,600 rooms was it in? Or which of those 1,000 rooms I've been in was it in? You just don't know until you go back and find it. The other thing to keep in mind is that your average sailor on this ship never made it into every room, and certainly did not know what every piece of equipment was or how to use everything. Your average sailor on the ship also probably didn't get to spend 7 years on here like I did. They do spend about 3 times as much time in any given day on board. I'm here for 8 hours a day on average, and they'd be here for 24 hours a day. But they specialized in their own job. The Battleship isn't like being on a submarine where, to be submarine qualified, you basically know every single job on the submarine. So for a World War II fleet type submarine, that's 80 or 90 people's worth of jobs. On the Battleship, where during World War II we had 2,700 people, you did not have the chance to learn that, particularly not in the 1 or 2 years that you might be assigned to the ship. You might start to learn all of the jobs in your department. Say if you work in a 16-inch gun turret, you might start to learn all of the 80 different positions that go into that gun turret. But even then, you've served in that gun turret for a long time to get to that point, or in other similar gun turrets. Another problem that we have is there are a lot of repeat spaces, let's say. Like, how many different berthing spaces are there on this ship? How many different magazine spaces? So a couple of years ago, we were talking about how we didn't know if the Harpoon missiles had a backup space to launch them from. And we said in a video, we don't know, we've never seen one. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but we aren't aware of it. And somebody said, oh yeah, when I was on board, that space was in one of the 5-inch handling rooms. Nah, probably doesn't know what he's talking about. I've been in 5-inch handling rooms and there weren't any Harpoon equipment in there. There's no way. So it wasn't until we went through and looked in all 10 of the 5-inch handling rooms, some of which have padlocks on them because they're still used to store the black powder that we use to fire salutes, and I don't have a key to those spaces, that we found that, oh shoot, 2 of these we actually hadn't been in, and sure enough, it's got all the Harpoon equipment in it. And the lights still worked when we turned them on because nobody'd been in them for so long that the bulbs hadn't burned out yet. They'd just been left off. So there's certainly an amount of that. On every single one of my tours, I take people to this 5-inch magazine that we've restored, and I don't make it to the other 3 spaces that are still 5-inch magazines, or the 2 spaces that were once 5-inch magazines and have been converted to other uses. And I can't necessarily keep straight in my head that, okay, I've been in 9 of the 10 5-inch handling rooms, and I might remember that one of them has a bunch of like 5-inch powder canisters in it and some of the stuff that you would use to transfer them. Oh man, which one was that? I don't know, now it's been 2 years since I've gone through the 5-inch handling rooms. I guess we have to find the time to go through all of them again and wait for somebody from gun crew to be here to unlock the ones that I can't get into. Another thing to keep in mind is that while we might have been in these rooms before, we haven't necessarily been in every drawer and cabinet in these rooms. So for example, when we found the nuclear launch keys or the keys to the gear reduction box, that was not only in a room that I've been in pretty frequently, it was in a desk drawer of one of our maintenance guys. Like, the guy uses that office every single day. How had we never found those before? Well, it wasn't until the maintenance director retired and a new person took that job and started cleaning out the office, that they went through the drawers in that space and found it. There's dozens of spaces like that. Every now and again I'll go into a space and I'll open up a new cabinet. Honestly, more often than not, it's when we're shooting a YouTube video in a space and I'm pontificating about this or that, and Libby is bored out of her mind, so she just goes and starts looking around the room and opening doors and things, that we find some of these manuals, documents, or keys or other objects that have been left in these spaces. And so that's how, even though the ship has been a museum for 23 years, longer than she was in active service, like longer than she was a commissioned warship, that myself and the two curators that came before us are still going into the spaces and finding new stuff for the first time. So, what do you think is the coolest space that we've ever found? What do you think is the coolest object that we've ever found in a space? Let us know in the comment section down below. I'm pretty sure the coolest thing that I've ever found is those nuclear permission to fire keys. That one's going to be hard to one up. The coolest space that I think I've ever found is there was actually an air conditioning space behind the officer's barber shop. I've been in the officer's barber shop dozens of times, but I never noticed that there was a second door in that space. And then when we went through that door, there was an air conditioning space with a ladder in it that led up to the after main battery director, which was accessible through other spaces, so I never needed to use that to get in there. So I just had no idea that those spaces existed at the aft end of the O1 level, the superstructure. But let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Battleship New Jersey receives operating support from the New Jersey Department of State, also from a number of other businesses and private individuals like yourselves. For today's episode, we would like to thank Magic Spoon for sponsoring. Remember to go to magicspoon.com/battleship to get some cereal today. You can also support us by liking, sharing, and subscribing so more people find about the museum and our channel. Thanks for watching.